Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today I'm going to be going over Phainon's full kit, team synergies, and also my thoughts on his value now that I've been able to test him out for a while now, which some of you can also see this as sort of like an extension to one of my prior videos. Let me know though which character you're the most excited for in our upcoming patches, and lastly, if you enjoy videos like these, you make sure to subscribe, hit the like button to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. Phainon is a physical destruction character with a unique ultimate that is centered around stacks similar to Acheron and Beishao, requiring stacks for their ultimates, which Phainon's unique mechanic is Coreflame. Phainon will be able to acquire 2 Coreflame from using his skill, and him being the target of an enemy or an ally's ability. This will grant him 1 point of Coreflame, and this can include an enemy attacking Phainon. And for team members, this can be an ally using their skill on Phainon, their ultimate, a sustain providing shields or heals for Phainon, and if the ability's user is Phainon's teammate, Phainon's crit damage will increase by 30% for 3 turns. Another noteworthy thing is that one of Phainon's traces will actually allow him to gain 1 point of Coreflame when receiving an energy regeneration effect provided by a team member, which means Sunday or Tingyun's ultimates can actually give Phainon 2 points of Coreflame total. Prior to using Phainon's ultimate though, Phainon's basic attack will deal physical damage onto a single enemy, while his skill will gain him 2 points of Coreflame as mentioned, as well as deal physical damage onto a single enemy and adjacent enemies. Phainon will need 12 points of Coreflame in order to use his ultimate, and he can also hold up to 3 excess points of Coreflame as well. Holding excess Coreflame will allow him to gain Coreflame based on the excess points at the end of his transformation. So if you were to use his ultimate, enter his transformation, and weren't able to defeat all enemies within his first ultimate, the excess Coreflame you accumulated prior to transforming will assist with Phainon being able to quickly use his ultimate again. As mentioned, once Phainon has 12 points of Coreflame, he can use his ultimate and he will transform as well as deploy a territory during his transformation. Other team members will become departed during his territory and cannot take action, and all enemies will gain physical weakness as well. Phainon will be fighting on his own during his territory, and he will retain all of the buffs from allies during this. During the transformation, Phainon does not enter his own turn, rather he has 8 extra turns, with a speed set at 60% of Phainon's base speed. Phainon's attack will increase by 80% and his max HP will increase by 270%, while in his transformation, after using an attack, Phainon will restore 20% of his max HP, and then when he does take a killing blow, he will not be knocked down. Instead, he'll restore HP equal to 25% of his max HP and immediately launch his final hit. Additionally, Phainon is immune to crowd control debuffs and will now have new abilities he could take advantage of. 1 being his enhanced basic attack and 2 enhanced skills, 1 revolving around counter-attacking enemies and the other enhanced skill being centered around the points of Scourge he accumulates. Scourge will be used to enhance his skill, Foundation Star Death Verdict, and you will want 4 points of Scourge in order to enhance this attack, which will be a huge source of Phainon's damage output. As for his enhanced basic attack, it will get Phainon 2 points of Scourge and deal damage to an enemy in adjacents. I typically take advantage of this when there is a lower amount of enemies on the field, since his enhanced skill Calamity Soul Scorch will allow him to gain Scourge based on the number of enemies present. So if there's 4 enemies present, this would result in 4 points of Scourge for Phainon. His enhanced skill Calamity Soul Scorch will cause all enemies to immediately take action, and Phainon will reduce the damage received by 75% when using this skill. Phainon will gain Soul Scorch after enemies attack him or take action, and after all enemies take their actions, he'll launch a counterattack onto them, and this attack will be strengthened by the amount of Soul Scorch stacks he gets. As for Phainon's final enhanced skill, Phainon will dispel all debuffs on him, and this skill will be strengthened if he has 4 points of Scourge accumulated as mentioned, and he'll be able to unleash massive damage onto enemies with the enhanced skill Foundation Star Death Verdict. As for when Phainon exits his transformation, he will deliver a final hit, which you would then need to get him enough Coreflame points to re-enter his transformation by using his ultimate, if you didn't already defeat all the enemies within his first transformation. Additionally, when the transformation ends, all allies' speed will increase by 15% for 1 turn. As for Pheinon's technique, he'll increase the max technique points by 3 for being in the team, and his technique will consume 2 skill points and immediately attack all enemies. Then after entering battle, he will regenerate 25 energy for all allies and gain 2 Scourge and 1 skill point. He will also deal physical damage onto all enemies at the start of each wave as well. The 25 energy for all allies is very useful, as this will allow you to be able to quickly use your support's ultimates to further amplify Pheinon's damage potential. Lastly, if you hit a normal enemy with his technique, he'll defeat them without entering combat. As for Pheinon's remaining traces, when entering battle or when his transformation ends, Phainon will increase his attack by 50%. This effect can stack up to 2 times, and this is a nice attack increase, as Phainon can take advantage of this for furthering his damage potential. As for Pheinon's next trace, Bide in Flames, when receiving healing effects or shields from a teammate, Phainon will increase the damage dealt by 45% for 4 turns. And this effect cannot be triggered repeatedly within 1 turn. This damage boost from this trace is really nice in the case of you potentially wanting to run a sustain with Phainon, as this trace can help a bit with the damage loss if you aren't running sustainless, which in this case sustainless would be 3 supports alongside Phainon. Additionally, when receiving energy regeneration ability effects provided by teammates, you'll gain 1 point of Coreflame as mentioned earlier. And as for Phainon's final trace, March to Oblivion, at the start of battle he'll gain 1 point of Coreflame, and when his transformation ends, he'll gain 3 points of Coreflame. This trace right here, as well as hypothetically if you did have excess Coreflame before you use his transformation, this will allow you to quickly use his ultimate once again and get back into his transformation when you do exit it. He'll be able to gain 37.3% crit damage, 12% crit rate, and 5 speed through his traces as well. And Phainon has an interesting playstyle when it comes to his Coreflame and Scourge mechanic, and being able to depart team members during his territory, him becoming the sole fighter while his territory is active as well. Phainon being able to keep the buffs that allies provide for him while his territory is active allows Phainon to deal a bunch of damage, especially with his enhanced skill that consumes Scourge. And since allies are departed, him being able to retain the buffs is very crucial, as you wouldn't be able to reapply the buffs while Phainon is in his transformation. So that's why him being able to retain the buffs while he is in his transformation is pretty crucial for his damage output. There are multiple supports you can also use alongside Phainon. Running Sustainless will be a common option, as Phainon will depart allies while in his territory, and he also has immense survivability in his territory as well, since he is immune to crowd control debuffs as well as fatal damage. When it comes to Phainon's team members, he'll heavily appreciate teammates who can target their buffs onto him in order to quickly get points of Coreflame to transform with his ultimate. Some team members can be Sunday for his buffing capabilities, advancing forward Phainon to use his skill more frequently. The energy regeneration Sunday provides with his ultimate will be useful for getting Phainon more Coreflame, and so on. Bronya provides action advance with her skill, which can be beneficial for Phainon to use his skill again and more frequently, and you can also do a team of Sunday and Bronya to quickly stack Coreflame for Phainon. King Yun can target Phainon with her skill as well as her ultimate, which her ultimate does have energy regeneration, which can assist with Phainon getting more points of Coreflame, and she's also a very nice budget-friendly option that you can consider. Other supports can be Ruan Mei, who can assist heavily with no sustained teams, as she could delay enemies, and also improve Phainon's weakness breaking efficiency, which can allow Phainon to quickly break enemies and delay them, as well as her other buffing capabilities to amplify his damage output. Kirby can provide all-type res pen, and her zone is useful for further amplifying Phainon's damage output. Remembrance Trailblazer is nice for the true damage buff. You can use Sparkle alongside Phainon. You can use Yukong, as Phainon will retain the buffs allies provide for him when he transforms. You can even consider Cypher as an agility option, as you can take advantage of the vulnerability she provides, which will increase your damage output. And when Phainon is in his transformation, Cypher will still be recording the damage Phainon is dealing. So if you did exit your transformation, Cypher's ultimate can be very useful in order to deal massive damage onto an enemy and potentially even being able to end a fight this way. You can consider Robin, as she can advance forward the whole team, which can be useful for getting more Coreflame stacks for Phainon's ultimate, and so on. If you do use a sustain, this would come down to which sustains you have, but it is worth noting that Huahua has energy regeneration with her ultimate, which can be useful, and also other options can be Gallagher, Lynx, and so on. Phainon will be used as a hyper carry primarily due to how his kit functions and him being the star of the show during his ultimate. When it comes to an idea of how to possibly speed tune, let's say you had Sunday and Bronya, you can consider doing a 162 speed Sunday and 161 speed Bronya, for example, and you can use Sunday to advance forward Phainon, and afterward you'll be able to advance forward Phainon once again with Bronya, which can result in Phainon being able to get a nice amount of Coreflame to be able to quickly use his ultimate. Alternatively, if you do decide to go with a speed boots Phainon, you could have it speed tuned to where Sunday and Bronya are slightly slower than Phainon, so it could end up going, let's say, 136 speed Phainon with 135 speed Sunday and then 134 speed Bronya. This could potentially be an option as well, but there is something to keep in mind of, which would be the skill point usage of the team, especially if you do not have Sunday's Light Cone or you do not have Bronya's E1, which in this scenario, if your other support was faster than them, or even your sustain, depending on what option you go with, then you could try to use their basic attack more frequently to have more skill points available for Phainon, Sunday, and then Bronya. Also, ideally, you want to be able to activate all the buffs your characters can provide for Phainon, so once he is in his transformation from his ultimate, he'll be able to take advantage of all the buffs the team can provide for him. As for building Phainon, I would recommend Wave Strider Captain. Other options though can be Scholar Lost and Erudition, or even the Champion set. As for planars, you'll be looking at the new upcoming Woven Dreams planar set or Rutland Arena. As for his main stats, you'll want crit rate or crit damage. Ideally, try to get as much crit rate as possible within battle, which accounts for his relics as well as buffs he may receive in battle. You can go with attack or speed boots, physical damage orb, and attack rope. For his substats, you'll primarily be looking to increase his crit stats and attack, and speed is also a consideration if you're aiming for a certain speed threshold. For light cones, you'll be looking at his signature, On the Fall of an Aeon, Brighter Than the Sun, A Trail of Bygone Blood, and so on. When it comes to Phainon's value, I would say he shines the most in Memory of Chaos as well as APOC from what I've tested so far. In Memory of Chaos, for example, he was able to get 0 cycle clears from my testing, but in the case of him not being able to defeat an enemy within his first transformation, then this can end up being a 1 to 2 cycle clear. Also, depending on when you use his ultimate can also be pretty important as well for your clear, as I noticed if you use his ultimate more near the end of a cycle, he will not have as many actions within that cycle in comparison to if you use his ultimate earlier on within a cycle. I would say if you're looking for a new damage dealer and you're a fan of Phainon and his gameplay, when it comes to how his territory functions and him being a sole character you're playing during his transformation, then he could be a nice option for you. We also have Saber coming in version 3.4, which if you're on the fence regarding Phainon, I would recommend waiting until Saber showcases are released to determine which character you want the most out of the two. Both nicely take advantage of Sunday at the moment, so that is something to keep in mind when it comes to team building with them. Lastly, I would love to know if you're pulling for Phainon or if you're potentially skipping him and for who. I hope you all did enjoy this video, and if you did, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.